What really happens when an ordinary middle-class family suddenly finds itself standing at the center of the British monarchy? For decades, the House of Windsor has operated according to traditions, protocols, and expectations that few outsiders could truly understand. Yet one family from the quiet English village of Bucklebury managed to do something many believed was impossible. They didn't just enter the royal orbit, they became part of its future. Before we go, if you enjoy royal stories, exclusive palace insights, and the latest updates on Catherine, Princess of Wales, and the British royal family, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode. Your support helps us continue bringing you thoughtful royal documentaries, behind-the-scenes stories, and in-depth coverage of the people shaping the future of the monarchy. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next royal update. Today, we're uncovering the remarkable story of how the Middleton family went from suburban England to the heart of the crown, how they earned the trust of royalty, and why some royal observers believe their influence may ultimately reshape the monarchy itself. And as we'll discover, what happened behind palace walls was far more significant than most people ever realized. Before Catherine Middleton became Princess of Wales, before she stood on the balcony of Buckingham Palace, and before her children became heirs to the throne, the Middletons were simply a hard-working family building a life in rural Berkshire. There were no aristocratic titles, no ancient castles, and no royal bloodlines connecting them to Britain's most famous institution. Their story was one of ambition, determination, and steady progress. Carole Middleton came from modest beginnings and worked as a flight attendant. Michael Middleton built his own career within British Airways. Together, they created a successful business and provided opportunities for their children that previous generations could scarcely imagine. Yet everything changed when their eldest daughter crossed paths with a young university student named Prince William. At first, few understood the magnitude of what was unfolding. But as their relationship grew, so did the realization that the future Queen of Britain might come from a family unlike any that had entered royal history before. And that reality would force both families into uncharted territory. Long before royal engagements and state occasions, Prince William experienced something he had rarely known throughout his life: normal family life. Inside the Middleton household, there were family dinners, casual conversations, and a sense of warmth that many royal commentators believe deeply resonated with the young prince. Unlike palace life, where schedules, protocol, and public expectations often shaped daily routines, Bucklebury offered something refreshingly different. Friends close to the family have often described the Middletons as welcoming, grounded, and intensely loyal to one another. For William, whose childhood had unfolded under extraordinary public scrutiny, this environment represented stability and comfort. Reports from those familiar with the relationship suggest he quickly developed a strong bond with Carole Middleton, who provided the kind of nurturing presence that many observers believe he valued enormously. What began as a university romance was becoming something much larger. William wasn't simply falling in love with Catherine, he was becoming part of her family, and that connection would eventually influence the future direction of the monarchy itself. As William and Catherine's relationship became harder to conceal, another force entered the story: the media. Almost overnight, Kate Middleton found herself at the center of an international spotlight unlike anything she had experienced before. Photographers followed her movements, newspapers analyzed every outfit, headlines scrutinized every appearance. What had once been a private relationship suddenly became public property. For Catherine, the adjustment was enormous. Friends and observers have described this period as one of intense pressure, where even routine activities attracted attention from cameras and reporters. Yet, perhaps more remarkably, the scrutiny did not stop with Kate. The entire Middleton family was pulled into the spotlight. Their business, their background, their social status, and even their personal habits became subjects of public discussion. Stories appeared examining everything from Carole Middleton's upbringing to the family's financial success. Despite the relentless attention, the Middletons largely refused to engage publicly. They adopted a strategy that would later prove critical to their success within royal circles: remain calm, remain silent, and never become part of the story. But this was only the beginning of a much larger challenge. For many families, meeting future in-laws can be intimidating. Meeting the reigning monarch of the United Kingdom is something else entirely. When Michael and Carole Middleton received an invitation to Windsor Castle to meet Queen Elizabeth II, it marked a turning point in their journey into royal life. Palace staff reportedly ensured that every detail was carefully prepared. Protocol guidance was provided. Expectations were explained. Every aspect of the encounter reflected centuries of royal tradition. Yet beneath the formalities was a simple reality. The Queen wanted to know the family of the woman who might one day become Queen herself. According to accounts from royal insiders, the meeting went exceptionally well. What stood out was not aristocratic polish or social status, but authenticity.
The Middletons remained true to themselves. They were respectful without appearing intimidated, confident without seeming entitled. In many ways, this meeting established a foundation of trust that would benefit Catherine for years to come. The monarchy had seen outsiders struggle before, but the Middletons were proving remarkably adaptable, and palace observers were beginning to take notice. History has not always been kind to royal outsiders. Previous generations had witnessed tensions, scandals, and failed attempts at integration. For that reason, many within royal circles approached Catherine's emergence with understandable caution. She was carefully introduced to different aspects of royal life. Visits to royal residences, family gatherings, and private occasions all served as opportunities for senior royals to assess how she handled the pressure. Prince Charles reportedly welcomed her warmly. Over time, even skeptical members of the family began recognizing qualities that would become Catherine's greatest strengths: patience, discipline, discretion, and emotional stability. Unlike some who entered royal life seeking attention, Catherine appeared willing to learn. She listened more than she spoke. She observed before acting. Most importantly, she understood that becoming part of the monarchy required adaptation rather than confrontation. This approach distinguished her from many who had come before.
By the time discussions of engagement became serious, there was growing confidence that Catherine possessed the temperament necessary for royal life. Yet, despite this progress, one major question remained unanswered. How long would William keep the future queen waiting? By 2007, after years of intense public attention, the relationship between Prince William and Kate Middleton appeared to reach a breaking point. Reports emerged that the couple had separated. For the public, it was shocking. For the Middleton family, it was deeply personal. William was not only distancing himself from Catherine. By that stage, he had become closely connected to her entire family. Friends and royal observers noted that he had developed genuine affection for the Middletons and the normality they brought into his life. Yet the pressures surrounding a future king are unlike those faced by ordinary couples. Questions about timing, responsibility, and destiny hovered over the relationship. The breakup immediately triggered a media storm. Headlines questioned whether Kate had invested years into a relationship that might never lead to marriage. Some tabloids focused their attention on Carole Middleton, portraying her as an ambitious mother determined to secure a royal future for her daughter. There was little evidence supporting such claims, but the narrative gained traction. Despite the criticism, the Middletons refused to retaliate publicly. They remained disciplined, calm, and silent. Looking back, that restraint may have been one of the smartest decisions they ever made. Because while the world believed the story was over, events behind the scenes were moving in a very different direction. If the breakup was a test, Kate Middleton passed it with remarkable composure. Instead of retreating from public life, she appeared more confident than ever. She continued working, socializing, and maintaining her independence. Friends later suggested that this period demonstrated a side of Catherine that the public had rarely seen before. She was resilient, self-assured, and unwilling to define herself solely through her relationship with William. Royal commentators have long debated whether this period changed William's perspective. Suddenly, the woman who had patiently stood beside him for years was showing that she could thrive without him. Reports from those close to the situation indicate that William quickly realized what he stood to lose. Within a matter of weeks, the couple began reconnecting. Their reunion was not simply a romantic reconciliation, it represented a new stage in the relationship. This time, there was greater maturity, greater commitment, and a stronger understanding of the future that awaited them both. For the Middleton family, it was confirmation that patience had prevailed. Yet while William and Catherine had found their way back to each other, the most important royal approval still remained ahead. One of the most significant milestones in Catherine's journey came when she attended the wedding of Peter Phillips at Windsor. On the surface, it appeared to be another royal family gathering. In reality, it represented something much more important. For the first time, Catherine attended a major royal occasion without William by her side. That detail mattered enormously. It signaled that she was increasingly being viewed not simply as a girlfriend, but as someone who might soon become a permanent member of the institution. Behind palace walls, preparations were carefully managed. Royal aides understood the significance of the moment. Meeting Queen Elizabeth II in a formal setting was not simply about introductions. It was an opportunity for the monarch to personally assess the woman who could one day stand at the center of Britain's future monarchy. According to reports, the interaction was warm and positive. The Queen reportedly appreciated Catherine's confidence, her lack of pretension, and her ability to remain comfortable in unfamiliar surroundings. Unlike many people overwhelmed by royal protocol, Catherine appeared relaxed and genuine. It was another step forward, another door opening. And with every successful encounter, speculation about an engagement became increasingly impossible to ignore. As the years passed, public curiosity intensified.
Catherine had attended royal events, earned the respect of senior royals, and remained in a committed relationship with the future king. Yet one question dominated headlines across Britain. Why wasn't William proposing? The media even gave Catherine an unflattering nickname that implied she had spent years waiting for a ring. Behind the headlines, however, the reality was more complex. William had witnessed firsthand the pressures faced by his mother, Princess Diana. He understood better than anyone the life-changing consequences of royal marriage. Unlike previous generations, he was determined to be absolutely certain before taking such a monumental step. Sources close to royal circles have suggested that Carole Middleton eventually sought reassurance regarding her daughter's future. Whether formal or informal, discussions reportedly took place about William's intentions. For the Middleton family, this was not simply about romance, it was about certainty. Years of scrutiny had taken a toll. Eventually, William provided that assurance. He knew Catherine was the right person. The only remaining question was when the announcement would come. And when it finally arrived, it would transform not only two lives, but the future of the monarchy itself. In October 2010, Prince William proposed. After nearly a decade of friendship, courtship, scrutiny, and speculation, the moment had finally arrived. The engagement announcement instantly became global news.
Across Britain and far beyond, millions watched as William and Catherine appeared together to confirm what many had long anticipated. Yet what stood out during their first interview was not simply the engagement itself. It was William's praise for the Middleton family. He spoke warmly about the support, kindness, and stability they had provided throughout the years. Those comments revealed something important. The Middletons were no longer viewed as outsiders standing on the edge of royal life. They had become trusted figures within William's personal world. Back in Bucklebury, celebrations erupted. Friends, neighbors, and local residents shared in the excitement. For a family that had endured years of scrutiny, criticism, and relentless attention, the announcement represented validation. Their daughter was about to become a future queen. More significantly, the monarchy itself was entering a new chapter. For centuries, royal marriages had often been shaped by aristocratic connections and dynastic expectations. Now, a middle-class family from Berkshire stood on the threshold of history. But if the engagement captured global attention, what followed next would elevate the Middletons to a level of visibility and influence they had never imagined possible. On April 29, 2011, the eyes of the world turned toward Westminster Abbey. What appeared to be a royal wedding was in many ways the formal merging of two very different worlds. On one side stood the House of Windsor, an institution built upon centuries of tradition, hierarchy, and duty. On the other stood the Middleton family, successful but unmistakably middle class, representing a modern Britain that many citizens recognized as their own. For Catherine, the day marked the culmination of nearly a decade of preparation, pressure, and public scrutiny. But for her parents, Michael and Carole Middleton, it was equally transformative. Suddenly, they were no longer private citizens. Every gesture, expression, and interaction was being analyzed by a global audience. Yet, remarkably, they appeared composed throughout. Royal commentators later noted how naturally they handled the attention. There was no visible attempt to imitate aristocratic behavior or reinvent themselves for public approval. Instead, they remained exactly who they had always been. That authenticity resonated with viewers around the world. As William and Catherine stepped onto the Buckingham Palace balcony and shared their iconic kiss, another story was quietly unfolding in the background. The Middletons had successfully crossed a boundary that few families had ever navigated. They were now permanently connected to the future of the British crown. And as the celebrations faded, a new challenge was about to emerge, one that nobody saw coming. While Catherine was unquestionably the bride of the day, another Middleton unexpectedly captured global headlines.
Pippa Middleton, serving as maid of honor, instantly became an international sensation. Within hours of the ceremony, media outlets around the world were discussing her appearance, her confidence, and her growing public profile. Social media exploded. Newspapers dedicated entire features to her. Suddenly, the younger Middleton sister found herself experiencing a level of fame that few non-royals had ever encountered. What made the situation particularly unusual was that Pippa had done nothing extraordinary beyond supporting her sister. Yet public fascination grew rapidly. Invitations multiplied, business opportunities appeared, media attention intensified. For the Middleton family, this development presented a delicate challenge. They had worked hard to avoid becoming celebrities in their own right. Now, one family member was becoming a headline almost every day. Royal insiders later suggested that palace officials were monitoring the situation closely. Excessive publicity around royal relatives has historically created complications for the monarchy. Pippa's sudden fame was exciting, but it also carried risks. The line between supporting the institution and overshadowing it can be surprisingly thin. And as attention shifted toward the wider Middleton family, scrutiny soon followed. With visibility came criticism. The Middleton family quickly learned that proximity to royalty often creates impossible expectations.
Their successful business, Party Pieces, became the subject of constant examination. Every commercial decision was analyzed through a royal lens. Journalists questioned whether products, marketing campaigns, or business ventures might somehow benefit from royal connections. Similar scrutiny followed Pippa and James Middleton. When Pippa published books or participated in public events, critics accused her of capitalizing on her sister's position. When James pursued entrepreneurial projects, business setbacks became national stories. Fairly or unfairly, the family discovered that ordinary mistakes were no longer treated as ordinary. Every decision carried heightened significance because of their connection to the future queen. Yet throughout these challenges, the Middletons largely maintained the strategy that had served them well from the beginning. They avoided public feuds. They rarely responded to criticism. They refused to engage in media battles. In many respects, they adopted the same approach that had defined royal survival for generations. Maintain dignity, avoid unnecessary conflict, and let public attention move on. That discipline helped preserve both their reputation and their relationship with the monarchy. But their greatest contribution to royal life was still yet to come. Everything changed again in July 2013 with the birth of Prince George. For the first time in British history, a future king had a grandmother whose family roots included working-class communities rather than aristocratic estates. It was a symbolic moment that reflected the monarchy's gradual evolution. The arrival of Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis further strengthened the connection between the Windsor and Middleton families. Behind the scenes, many royal commentators believe the Middletons became a stabilizing force within the children's upbringing. Unlike previous generations of royals, George, Charlotte, and Louis have been raised with significant exposure to a family environment that feels comparatively normal. Birthday parties, school runs, family gatherings, and close relationships with grandparents have become visible elements of their childhood. Observers frequently point out that Catherine's experiences growing up in a supportive and tightly bonded family continue to influence her parenting approach today. While royal tradition remains important, there is also a clear emphasis on emotional security, personal development, and family connection. These priorities reflect many of the values Catherine experienced growing up as a Middleton. As future leaders of the monarchy mature, those influences may prove more important than anyone currently realizes. Nearly 2 decades after Prince William first entered the Middleton family home, it has become increasingly clear that their impact extends far beyond a royal marriage.
Unlike many individuals who have entered the royal orbit, the Middletons never appeared interested in power, status, or celebrity. Instead, their influence emerged through consistency, discretion, and family unity. They provided William with a model of family life that many royal observers believe shaped his own priorities as a husband and father. They offered Catherine the support system necessary to navigate one of the most demanding public roles in the world. And through their grandchildren, their values are likely to remain embedded within the monarchy for generations to come. Today, Prince George stands second in line to the throne. One day, he may become King George VII. When that day arrives, historians may look beyond the palaces and ceremonies to recognize a quieter story. The story of a family from Berkshire that entered royal life without titles, without privilege, and without expectations. A family that succeeded where many others struggled. A family whose influence was rarely dramatic, rarely visible, but ultimately impossible to ignore. Because in the modern monarchy, some of the most important changes have not come from behind palace gates. They have come from the Middletons. The House of Windsor has survived wars, scandals, abdications, and generations of change, yet few transformations have been as subtle or as significant as the arrival of the Middleton family. They did not enter the monarchy by force. They did not demand influence.
They simply became indispensable. And as Britain looks toward the future reign of Prince George, one question remains. When history tells the story of the modern monarchy, will it remember the Middletons merely as royal in-laws, or as the family that quietly helped redefine the crown itself?